मंच के प्रथम देवता श्री गणेश कहलाते हैं। मैं एक श्लोक से शुरू करना चाहूंगी। श्रवण सुंदर नाम गणपति ज्ञाननाथ गजाननम विघ्नहरणम गौरीनंदन चढ़त मोदक भुजाचार विभूषणम जड़ित मुकुट कटिपीत सोहत मूषक वाहन दुख विनाशनि जयति जय जय जयति जय जय जगत रक्षक जगपति मम रिपु भक्षक ज्ञानदाता उमंग नाचत धाकृत लंबो उदर एकदन तथा धाकृत लंबो उदर एकदन तथा धाकृत लंबो उदर एकदन तथा। Without his divine blessings, Lord Ganesha's divine blessings, and of course the blessings of my parents, my gurus, which have been with me since I was born, this would not have been possible. So I'm truly, truly indebted to the divine grace and the blessings to be here in front of you. It's indeed a very, very overwhelming moment always when I have to speak about my journey and sharing all that I have gone through in almost so many years of my life. I wouldn't really want to tell you my age here, but yes, I can definitely tell you that my daughter is 18 years old and she has just about finished her board exam 3 days back. So that actually makes life extremely competitive for me all the more. And of course, addressing you all, I was wondering how should I connect all the threads that connect the theme given to me today. I feel that this shloka that I learned way back when I was almost 4 years old, जब मुझे शायद इस श्लोक का अर्थ भी नहीं पता था, लेकिन because of my Guruji's blessings and my parents' blessings, I kind of looked at it as a duty. So coming to my first thread, that is joining me and actually holding my life together throughout these number of years, starts with duty. I'm sure you all know what is duty. Duty is being responsible towards what is expected out of you, isn't it? Right from what your teachers tell you in class, to what your mother tells you at home, to what your father tells you, to actually everything. You know, when you look at it as a duty, you look at it in a responsible fashion. So way back, I looked at it as a duty कि गुरुजी ने मुझसे कहा है कि ये श्लोक सीखना है, तो फिर सीखना है. There are no questions asked. When I looked at that task as my duty towards the craft that I started learning, which is Kathak, I was all about 3 years old. मुझे याद है पापा ने एक बार मुझसे पूछा था कि what do you want to become when you grow up? 3-3.5 साल की उम्र होगी, अब आज भी नहीं पता होता. I'm asking my daughter, what is it that you want to really pursue? And there is a bit of a confusion there. I'm sure you all are also somewhere, of course you all are management students, so you all somewhere in the mind and the heart, one is a little confused always. I am still. So many times in life you are confused. But I still remember that I looked up to the television screen. Back then there was only one television screen and पापा ने मुझे 4 ऐसी अलग-अलग शख्सियत से रूबरू करवाया था. सबसे पहले थी लता मंगेशकर जी. Then it was Hema Malini ji. And there was Rakesh Sharma, the space pilot. And of course one was my grandfather who was a professor. और मुझसे पूछा गया था कि what do you want to become? ऐसे ही मजाक में. And it seems that पापा कहते हैं कि I pointed out to हेमा जी. And somewhere मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि उन्हीं की शायद एक in his heart एक इच्छा रही होगी कि maybe he wanted me to pursue something to do with music and dance. Of course, he is a sportsman. He has been a national level volleyball champion. तो सारा discipline शायद वहीं से शुरू होता है घर में. And my mom was a banker. तो वो मुझे स्कूल के बाद अक्सर गार्डन में ले जाया करते थे खेल. And while passing through the lane, there was a board there which read Kala Darpan. Simply घुंघरुओं की एक तस्वीर थी. And he took me inside. और वहाँ थे मेरे पहले गुरु, लेट पंडित मदन कुमार जी. वो जब वहाँ एक क्लास चल रही थी डांस की. And Papa didn't know whether it was Kathak or it was Bharatnatyam, was it Odissi, nothing. There was just two students dancing, somebody on the tabla, Guruji on the harmonium. And एक 5 मिनट रुकने के बाद ब्रेक हुआ. And he asked my father कि yes, please tell me. So he said नहीं, we just saw the board outside and I walked in with my daughter because I wanted to know कि ये क्या सिखा रहे हैं आप. So I remember said कि हम यहाँ कथक सिखाते हैं. और he just called me center stage and there are 4 words जिसे हम बोल कहते हैं, जिस पर पूरा कथक लगभग आधारित है. ता थे थे तत, which is simply right left left right right left left right, जिसको हम तत्कार यानी फुटवर्क कहते हैं. And it seems that when I came center stage, I did it so well at the very first time that my Guruji told my father that Shah Sahab, आज से आपकी बेटी हमारी है. And there was no looking back. Well, I think that is only thanks to my father and my mother because they said कि by default every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 PM in the evening, फिर चाहे earthquake हो जाए, चाहे आपको बुखार है या फिर you're not feeling well or next day you have an exam, you will not miss this class for anything in this world. And that's how my journey started, with utmost discipline, which of course comes to the next thread, which is discipline. You know, everything is quite weaved. My entire speech today that I wish to share with you is based on these 4 points, 4 threads that are actually holding my life together even today, and which I feel every human being sitting in this auditorium or in the world practically needs to weave these into their life to kind of achieve whatever they want. So number 1 is duty, number 2 is devotion, number 3 is discipline, and number 4 is diligence. So that's 4 D's mantras of my life that I'm going to just tell you as I proceed of how they have really helped me, because मुझे नहीं पता था back then when I was 3.5 or when I was 5 when I gave my first stage performance that I am going to be a professional Kathak dancer when I grow up. Trust you me, you know, we plan something, they say we plan something और होता कुछ और है. ज़रूर of course होता कुछ और है, but you don't know how those things really help you mold into a person ahead in life and what really comes of use when. So like I go back, I remember my first stage performance was when I was 5. And I remember the chief guest, there was an auditorium called Tejpal Auditorium in Mumbai, which is still there. And I was all about 5 years old, was my first stage performance. And the chief guest was Govindaji and his mother. She was a very renowned classical singer. Her name was Nirmala Deviji. And they both graced the occasion. They came on stage, they felicitated me, and then, you know, they kind of said few great words of appreciation, telling my parents and my guru that ये बच्ची बहुत आगे जाएगी. And I guess whatever little I showed or represented on stage kind of must have sparked that emotion in them. And of course, like I said, it's the divine blessings and discipline and hard work. So as I proceed, what I wanted to tell you is how when you look at it as a duty, by default you have to look at devotion. Devotion is something that you're loyal towards. I'm sure you all know. जब हम कहते हैं कि हम इस particular क्षेत्र में या for this particular form of hobby or maybe something that you're studying, which is management, unless you are devoted to that subject, it's not going to give you that kind of result that you're expecting. I'm sure you all know that. Everybody here, there are, of course, the senior faculty sitting here, and you all are such learned, inspiring, aspiring students out there. I'm a student for life as well. So let me tell you, every step of your life, you're going to have this constant challenge that you have to face, that am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And let me tell you, the very fact that you're aware about this, you are definitely doing the right thing, because every time you are aware, so you're aware consciously that you know what is your next step. And even if you're not, you know, the very fact that you're aware, half your battle is won. So coming back to the 4 steps, I'm going to keep coming back and forth because they're so completely intertwined within each other that every one is related to the other. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So I recollect, in school there was a subject given as a hobby subject that we had to choose as an extra subject. And my school offered the instrument sitar, which I am extremely grateful to my school and the management that they had an Indian instrument back then. I'm talking way back. When I was in 5th standard, I remember. Tab, मुझे याद है, the other options were computers, cooking, home science, and of course physical education. And my father said that nothing doing, you will choose sitar, because you're already learning dance and I will make you learn music, that is vocal. But before that, since the school is offering sitar, why don't you learn sitar? And I remember by default, when your parents tell you something, you always feel, no, it's okay, I know it all, you're pressurizing me. Aajkal ye naya shabd hai. I know, relax, chill. Isn't that so? I mean, that's what I hear from my daughter. I know. Well, yes, you know, but let me tell you, you really don't know, because when your parents are talking to you, they are definitely talking to you with another 30 years, minimum 30 years of extra life experience that they've had. May not be with this new technology, of course, but yes, I think when they are coming to you with something, they're coming to you with something that is definitely going to be better for you, which I completely relate to, because I feel, had I not listened to my father back then, today in my introduction, the colleague here introduced that I play the sitar, and I very happily play the sitar, because that is something that gives me so much peace. Even if I've not taken up professionally, but yes, if this is something that I can do for myself in terms of enhancing my quality, enhancing my personality, spreading the correct cultural message through the social media is what I plan to do, and doing, and trying my best to do. So I remember jab sitar seekhni thi mujhe, and I was one of those very first few to be representing sitar on stage, even in school, for all the annual functions, for all competitions I won. थी तो मैं dancer, हूँ भी dancer, लेकिन I am trying to tell you of how these two threads interconnected. कभी-कभी हमें लगता है कि ये क्यों सीखना, इसकी क्या ज़रूरत है. But then, like I said, that when you are learning something, it's always going to be useful for what you eventually are good at, because there is this quality that teaches you to enhance your existing quality. Discipline. So let me tell you, I have been deprived of all possible birthday parties throughout my childhood, because I was perpetually in my dance class, in my sitar class, in my singing class. Like I said, I also learnt vocal. This may just come across as if my father is one big Hitler, but sometimes I do feel, yes, he's been very, very strict. But then, like I said, had he not been, I would probably not be here. So really, all thanks to them, that and of course all thanks to the divine grace that I was that kind of a child where I listened to him. I know this is all about my life, and sometimes it's difficult to talk about your own life, but truly speaking, I am so proud of it, and I'm so proud of my journey because it's been so rewarding. Let me tell you, back then, मुझे इस बात का एहसास ही नहीं था that where am I actually leading, because these are your formative years which you've already of course gone through. But what I'm just trying to tell you is it's never too late, because let me tell you, anything that you want to pursue, when you pursue it with full devotion and all heart, it is going to take you somewhere. And you're not going to know where, but when that day arrives, you're going to thank yourself and your stars that, wow, I'm glad I did it. So yes, I learned music, I learned dance, I learned sitar. I of course took part in numerous activities, numerous intercultural events and school events and competitions, and of course won prizes and accolades. And there I was at a junction of my career where was this going to lead? Now, I wanted to study architecture. I was a science student. And I still remember that's the only point where I didn't listen to my parents, because they wanted me to pursue arts. And I said, no, I want to do architecture. And I did my architecture. And during my architecture, Dad said, okay, you are not going to leave dance. So you're going to be doing an additional theory of Kathak, and you're going to master the art of Kathak. So I also learned and did my masters in Kathak, which was like an additional thing going by the side. And of course, by then I was already doing my professional performances on stage. And there I was, where, like I said, there was no social media, no phones. So all that you don't know, back then this was not even a career. So it was like, where am I really heading? But the duty, the devotion, the discipline, and the diligence. Diligence is something that you do persistently every single day. Yes, every single day I have done this in my life. Whether it's dance, whether it's sitar, I have tried to. But primarily, yes, dance. You know, because something that you do every single day repeatedly is something gets embedded in your subconscious mind. तभी हम कहते हैं कि, I'm sure you know, when you're preparing for an exam and you have to read the answer repeatedly. So I have another tip for you all. It may not work with most of you all, but you can try it. आज भी जब एक scene आता है मेरे पास for my acting, for my script, आजकल तो खैर इंग्लिश में लिख के आता है, there's English हिंदी, तो आप यहाँ आ रहे हैं, will be written as AAPYAAHAN. So now I actually make it a point to write it in Hindi, Devanagari language. The moment you write something, it's the first impression on your brain that's created, and then it's right here. It kind of gets imprinted somewhere in the subconscious mind when you write it. So first you read it, second you write it, then you silently read it, and then you read it aloud as many as times that you want to, until it gets into your head. I'm sure you've done that. If you've not, please try it. Trust me, it works. Of course, sometimes it's most of the times works, and it should work, and that's definitely that it will work for sure. There's another thing that I would like to tell you about. You know, when I'm talking about my journey, there are so many things that I would like to talk about. So I had to really kind of cut it down. Sorry, Mike? Sorry? Now? Oh, I have 1 more minute? Wow, I'm lucky. Okay, let me quickly tell you about my Guinness World Record. The importance of half a second is when I realized. So I set a record for 93 Kathak spins in 1 minute, for which I had to practice 3 times a day. When I practiced 3 times a day, I could do 100, 100, 100 with a stopwatch of 1 minute each. To prepare this, of course, I've been spinning since I was a kid. But when I was preparing for this, I had only 20 days. Every second, I have done 1.5 spin, which is really tough, let me tell you. With a focus, of course it's a technique, but the practice that goes behind it was my spine and my core workout that I did. That actually took me to do 1,000 skips every day in the morning with holding a plank for more than 10 minutes, which I still do. So nothing really comes easy, let me just tell you that. Just summing it all up, duty, devotion, discipline, and diligence. Trust me, guys, I know this may sound like too much of gyan, which my daughter keeps saying that, Mom, I know, because she's heard it like 1,000 times, but yes, let me tell you, these 4 threads of your life are going to hold you, are going to manage your life, are going to help you move. If you really, really implement it in every walk of your life to what you want to achieve, that's duty, devotion, discipline, and diligence. In true sense, nothing is impossible. I would just like to sum up my speech with my favorite quote: whatever you can dream or dream you can. Whatever you can dream or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Thank you.